Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for Anime Uproar, and we're finally back after the biggest cliffhanger in the history of Black Clover. And after an excruciating 3-month wait, the new chapter of Black Clover is finally here. We got a 15-month time skip. We see Asta coming face to face with Lucius Zogratis. And the Black Clover endgame is now in full swing. I am so excited for this epic return, so let's get into it. You guys know what to do. If you enjoy our Black Clover content and you want to see more Black Clover videos in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now. It only takes you a second, but it really helps with that YouTube algorithm. And of course, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. It might not seem like a big thing, but it actually helps a lot. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Anime Uproar. Finally, this video will, of course, contain Black Clover manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Okay, so in case you need a quick reminder, before the break and the time skip, it was revealed that Wizard King Julius Novachrono was actually the 4th Zogratis sibling. His real name is Lucius Zogratis, and on top of that, the Wizard King's time magic comes from the time magic devil, Asta, who, as we found out, used to be one of the main Cliffoth devils before he mysteriously disappeared from the underworld and was replaced by Megicula. We also saw Adramelech bringing Lucifero's heart to Lucius as Lucius proclaimed that the time has come. Well, to be fair, the time hadn't come yet at that point because the latest chapter starts off with a 15-month time skip. Well, first we see Lucius inside the 7th layer of the underworld. He uses time magic to incapacitate what's left of Lucifero. Lucifero is saying the kind of stuff that we've come to expect from him. He's talking about how he's the king of the devils and how he has the most powerful magic, blah blah blah. But Lucius replies that in this world, the ones who are superior at using magic are us humans. He then proceeds to take Lucifero's heart, and there is an implication that he might have eaten it. We don't see him actually eat the heart, but the unofficial translation includes the word munch after Lucius grabs the heart, as if to imply that he was about to munch on it. We'll have to wait for the official viz.com translation to see whether munch was really the right word here, but definitely creepy nonetheless. After this scene of Lucius owning Lucifero, it is revealed that 1 year and 3 months have passed since the battle in the Spade Kingdom. This means that all of the characters are now 15 months older, meaning that Asta, Yuno, Noel, and many others are now adults. They are now over 18 years old, which is crazy when you think about it, because when the series started, they were only like 15. We see Asta entering a ceremony where he is about to be honored for his extraordinary merit as a magic knight. Yami and the other squad captains are there in attendance, along with Sister Lily, Father Orsi, and Asta's fellow orphans from Hage Village. A bunch of Asta's fellow Black Bulls are also there, and Mimosa is there as well. It was honestly heartwarming to see Father Orsi actually crying as Asta entered the room, and it's clear that Asta's entire family from Hage are super proud of him. Asta is then formally named Senior Magic Knight First Class. And we learn from Fugolian that this award ceremony had been delayed by the mysterious disappearance of Damnatio Kira. This had also delayed Asta's trial, but he has finally been acquitted and he is now free to receive this honor. Although there are still people inside the Clover Kingdom who distrust anyone who uses the power of a devil, Asta has most certainly earned this recognition. Asta is of course very honored and humbled to be acknowledged by the squad captains, and he is now only a few steps away from achieving his ultimate dream of becoming the Wizard King. However, as is tradition at this point, it turns out that Asta is once again lagging behind his rival Yuno. During the time skip, Yuno was already named a Grand Magic Knight, which is one step above Asta in the rankings. And in fact, Rill comments that Yuno just broke his record as the youngest mage to ever become a Grand Magic Knight. Fugolion then makes it clear that Asta deserves the same title as Yuno, but it seems that the stigma surrounding Asta's devil and the whole trial process is what has been dragging Asta down during these past 15 months. Basically, he would have been promoted together with Yuno, but he couldn't because he had to beat the charges first. At the banquet following the ceremony, a few people inquire about the whereabouts of the Wizard King himself, who clearly should have been present at the ceremony. But these questions are brushed off because Julius does have a tendency to transform and just sneak around incognito. We then learn that Fugolian, Nozel, and Mereoleona are all candidates for becoming the next Wizard King, but it looks like they all declined the offer. Mereoleona doesn't want the title, she doesn't want to deal with that type of stuff. And Nozel and Fugolian seem to believe that they must become much stronger before taking on such an important position. Even though the Spade and Heart Kingdoms have mostly recovered from the recent conflicts and the continent appears to be at peace, there is still demonic activity out there on the fringes of the Clover Kingdom, so they're not out of the woods yet. In fact, Yuno and the Golden Dawn, along with the Black Bulls who are not present at the ceremony, have been sent out to investigate this demonic activity, and they are traveling inside the Black Bull Mecca. We then learn something that I personally wasn't a big fan of, and this is an issue that I talked about in previous videos as well. It turns out that even now, 15 months after Charlotte confessed her feelings to Yami, there has still been absolutely no progress in their relationship. Yami wasn't even aware that she said she loves him because he was passed out, and I guess no one thought to tell him anything, Charlotte included. And so Charlotte just went back to being super shy and awkward around him, although it's even worse now because even the normally clueless Yami finally realizes that she's acting pretty weird. And that is when Finral finally decides to tell Yami that Charlotte loves him and that she confessed to him back in the Spade Kingdom. And yeah, I guess no one thought to say anything about this to Yami for 15 freaking months until Finral just casually dropped it now. Yami then decides to take a potty break so that he can sit down on the toilet and process this information. I guess we now know why we see Yami on the toilet so often. The man clearly likes to contemplate the big questions in life while sitting on the john. I love Yami as a character, but he is just so naive and oblivious when it comes to romance that it's crazy to think that he's supposed to be a 30-year-old adult man. He's acting all surprised that Charlotte loves him because he thought that she hated him, and it's like, man, have you ever seen a tsundere before? Like, come on, Yami, get it together. Meanwhile, it seems that Asta has been dealing with similar stuff from Noel and Mimosa, who have apparently spent the last 15 months feeling shy and self-conscious around him, but neither of them has said anything to him either, so their relationships have progressed about as much as Yami's and Charlotte's. Yay, that is super exciting and definitely not extremely frustrating at all. Then, as everyone prepares to leave the ceremony, Asta decides that he is going to propose to Sister Lily one more time, and now that he's an adult, this will be a genuine and serious proposal. He asks Sister Lily to marry him, he tells her that he is serious, and that this will be the last time that he proposes to her. Noel and Mimosa are both super shook as they await Sister Lily's answer, but they don't have any real reason to worry. Sister Lily thanks Asta, but she tells him that she sees him as a little brother, she considers him to be her family, so she cannot marry him. I mean, she is also a nun, although to be fair, I am not sure whether the nuns in the Black Clover world have to remain celibate. Asta bravely says that he understands, and even though he always wanted to marry her, he understands that sometimes you can't change how people feel. And even though he was just rejected by Lily, he renews his vow to achieve his other goal, that of becoming the Wizard King. Lily is proud of Asta and she tells him that he can do it, but that is when another guest suddenly shows up to the party. That guest is none other than Lucius Zogratis, who appears and congratulates Asta for making it this far. But then, as a confused Asta looks upon him, Lucius states that this is the end. The lighthearted awards ceremony that was all about honoring Asta's achievements and exploring cute romantic relationships takes a sudden dark turn as Asta comes face to face with the true final villain of the series, the Dark Wizard King. Something that caught my eye very quickly is the fact that the star on Lucius's forehead is slightly different than it was at the end of the previous chapter. 3 of the lines on the right side of the mark have disappeared, while the other 5 are still there. I wonder what that means. Is the changing mark an indicator that Lucius cannot stay in control of Julius's body forever? And maybe when that mark disappears completely, he will also disappear and Julius will get his body back. Maybe, but if only 3 lines disappeared in 15 months and there are still 5 lines left, then Lucius still has plenty of time to do whatever he has been planning. And of course, this is just speculation anyway. Those lines may have disappeared due to a completely different reason that is only going to be revealed later. Now, my question is this. Why did Lucius wait 15 months before making contact with Asta? What has Lucius been up to all this time? When he emerged at the end of the previous chapter, I assumed that he would now be launching his master plan. But it seems that another 15 months passed without anyone even realizing that something was wrong with the Wizard King. How is that even possible? And why did Lucius decide to wait so long? Wouldn't someone have noticed that something was so terribly wrong with one of the most important people in the Clover Kingdom in a period of over a year? Definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comments, because I am very curious to find out what exactly Lucius is planning to do now. Also, I really want to know what the true nature of the relationship between Lucius and Julius is. There seem to be a lot of people out there who believe that Julius Novachrono never existed and that he was just a fake persona created by Lucius to trick everyone. But that doesn't quite add up to me. Julius has done some genuinely good and selfless things multiple times in the past. And he even risked his own life to save the capital from Patri. Chibi Julius also seemed to be genuinely shocked when he realized that he was the Time Devil's host, and he even tried to warn Damnatio before Lucius took over. On top of that, we know that the 4th Zogratis sibling used to be in a wheelchair. So to me, this points to the fact that there probably is a real Julius, but his body has been usurped by Lucius. We don't know how or when this happened, but I am excited to discover this man's full backstory. What do you guys think? Is Julius just a made-up character, or is he a real person whose body was taken over by Lucius? And what about the Time Devil, Astaroth? Where is he in this whole story? Definitely share your thoughts down in the comments below. Oh, and most importantly of all, are you happy or frustrated with the progression of the romantic ships in the story? Personally, I'm pretty frustrated with how little progress has been made, especially during such a long time skip, but that's just my opinion. If you guys enjoyed this Black Clover video and you want us to keep it going, leave a quick like and comment. It only takes you a second, but it really helps me out a lot. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to directly support the channel. Subscribing is totally free, but it means a lot. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a big thank you to all of our Anime Uproar patrons for making videos like this one possible. Special thank you to our The One tier patrons, the ones who stand above all other clans, including Alpha Sigma, Pate Heffa, The Toasted Chi, Corey McGowan, Baked Buddhist, and Jeremy Pontier. And I can't forget all of our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Angel Cruz, Alicia Octer, Fatboy Games, Kaido Might Be a Duck, Alivania, and Anime S Code M. If you guys enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value for you, consider supporting us on Patreon or here through YouTube memberships. Even a single dollar helps, and it means a lot to us. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.